Let's close out this beautiful morning show here with a nice discussion. This is something that it's an article I've seen popped up on a lot of social media. And that is Platinum Games, Hideki Kamiya.
So he was a co-creator. So we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, he's the co-creator of Devil May Cry and Bayonetta.
The actual company.
Oh, the actual company was the co-creator.
He's the co-founder, my bad.
Oh, he's a co-founder of the company.
Wrong words. Sorry.
We're just messing this all. We're just bouncing him from category to category. But anyways, the big thing here is he wants you to, he thinks Japanese developers should embrace the JRPG name.
So, can I say this real quick? Because America is dumb. They're racist. No, not like racist, but they're the West. Not even just America. The whole West has a bad rep. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like white people are racist. I'm saying not just America, but the West. Let's face it, Europeans.
It's like fuck white people.
I mean, you're half white, so you're half an asshole. So.
Okay.
No, I'm not doing some SJW. I'm saying like it's been known that the West are a bunch of,
Whoa. Put the SJW card back in your pocket, okay?
You know what I'm getting at, though. It's I can see why there's I guess connotation to it, and how this guy's saying embrace it. Which, dude, ever since I was a kid, you were kids. I never thought of like negative Japanese when I thought of a JRPG or even anime for that matter.
So this whole thing stems from, which it's funny that you say that Americans are the racist, because as we talked about a couple weeks ago, Square Enix is actually the racist.
Well, actually, so I think I was talking to Lucci the other day that actually Japanese, like everyone's all like racist. I'm like, Japanese are xenophobes. Everyone's racist. Everyone's racist, buddy.
So this stems from the Final Fantasy 16's producer, which they're selling them short. It's not just 16. It's Final 14. Fantasy 16 and 14's producer, Naoki Yoshida, that it became a different subgenre of video games when Japanese developers had no say in the matter. So he says there was a time when this term first appeared 15 years ago. And for us as developers, the first time we heard it, it was like a discriminatory term. Which I don't know, because I've never seen that part of the argument. Now, here's the thing. You had, I don't know if it's necessarily negative, but when he's talking about 15 years ago, when you heard JRPG, it was
7.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, like, brightly colored characters, anime stylish character designs, sometimes hypersexualized female characters.
That's just the culture.
Yeah.
It's anime, but on a video game. It's going to be extra. It's going to have...
For Western RPGs, which I think one of the bigger ones was Wild Arms. It played more like it was... Sounds familiar. Wild Arms was on PlayStation 1. You probably, like me, only played Wild Arms 4, which was more of a Western. And by Western, I mean like revolvers, desert, like out west back in the day. Trying to keep track of what he's doing. He later clarified to IGN that we don't go into development thinking. We're going to make a JRPG, or we're going to make a Western RPG this time.
They just want to make a good game, pretty much.
Yeah, we're just going to make the RPG that we want to make. We're going to make that action RPG that we want to make. And I get it. I mean, there are JRPG groups that I'm in on Facebook where they've full on arguments are breaking out over what qualifies as a JRPG.
Oh God, purist.
Yeah. Like there's a group that says Dark Souls is a JRPG because it's made by a Japanese developer and it's
Doesn't make it. Doesn't
all
make
the
it.
elements of a role-playing game.
Doesn't make it Japan like. I almost said Japan anime because that might be negative, but Japan I used to call Japanese anime Japan anime. That could be technically racist connotations or negative connotation, but
Yeah, but
the way I look at it, like Dark Souls, yeah, it might be an RPG, but or made by a Japanese developer, but I think there's a certain amount of a checklist that makes something a JRPG, like good story. Well, not a good story, but like fantastic story, killing God.
yeah, like the meme we see all the time is chapter 1 of a game in a JRPG. Hey, I need you to collect me a bunch of cherries so we can bake a cherry pie. And then final chapter is, come on, we need to have this final battle and kill God.
Yeah, like right or like, I'm just thinking spitballing like kill God, have a badass chorus, have good music like Yumatsu level music, Soken music, just fantastic music that really sets the tempo, not just your doom and gloom like in Dark Souls and anything like
Yeah.
that. That makes sense.
Yeah. But reacting to this conversation, Platinum Games producer Yuji Nakao said he had the opposite viewpoint of Yoshida and that JRPGs as a subgenre are unique. They are. Now, here's the thing. When I hear this JRPG is coming out, now back then, like 10, 15 years ago, before we were so graphically advanced in games, when you looked at a JRPG game, you knew you were getting a checklist of things. One, you were getting anime style character designs. Two, you were getting such a flushed out world and story that you had roughly in the ballpark of about 100 hours of gameplay.
Pretty much.
You were also getting protagonists and characters that had, maybe some things going on, struggling with things that, that's kind of one of the things that attracted me to JRPGs was you had people struggling with some things in the game that you could relate to.
It got you involved.
Like you had your emo stage of characters in the game.
With Cloud Strife, Squall. I can't remember. I actually still didn't play through 9. I started 9 a while ago, but even at that, like, there's still some kind of struggle, not just opposite of like a Western games where like the protagonist is welcomed and he's established and just the typical tropes and shit.
Yeah.
But JRPGs though, like I always know that look at 16. I think we were gonna like it's kind of segues into 16. Like everyone's debating if it's a real Final Fantasy game just because it's set in Western or it's set in like Europe, basically medieval time. It's still a fucking Final.
And that was another thing that you have the JRPG purists that if it's not
turnstile,
if your characters aren't lined up in a row, if there's but like
I love
so
turnstile, but it's
earlier Tales of games, they used almost like an isometric. It was a top down but at an angle, but your characters had free movement left to right, and the battle played out that way. So over the years, they did kind of change. They did kind of evolve on the whole turn-based, but yeah, the whole big thing was a lot of people were saying if it's not turn-based, it's not a JRPG.
Another argument, this is kind of segues and goes into it, is that people are saying that 16 is so easy just because it's one button. Look at 7. 7's technically one button.
Button. 7 remake, but they changed that battle system because they wanted to keep up with the modern times of the game evolving.
I agree with yes and no, but even like Turnstile, you literally just press one button. Technically two if you want to like spam the ATB recharge, but still, you still use one button.
Actually,
even in old school JRPGs.
If you want to see how turn-based combat still is going on in today's world, look at arguments on social media. It is quite literally turn-based combat.
Right? But I mean, I could talk more and more on this, obviously. I could talk hours on this, but it's honestly, I'd rather play JRPGs than Western RPGs. Really. Better story. I mean, better music for sure. I'm all about the music. I'm sure you are too. Like Umatsu, Soken, like a couple of them are just fucking epic.
And I was gonna say that's another when you look at your checklist of what you're getting when you buy a JRPG, that's another thing. You are getting the best music that they can put together on the hardware
for no reason. Even back in the MIDIs, like from the older Final Fantasies, it still slapped. It still was good. It's still memorable. Like 20 years later.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have a hard time topping One Winged Angel.
Those Who Fight Further. I mean, it's not quite Sephiroth's Latin, but Those Who Fight Further.
Those Who Fight Further. Is that 14?
No, that's the 7.
Oh.
The boss music from 7. Those Who Fight Further.
I'll have to go back in. It's been a while since I finished that game.
No, but like I said, that still stuck in my head even 20 years later, 15, 20 years later. I still love Those Who Fight Further. That was from a fucking JRPG.
Yeah.
And of course Sephiroth, because it's fucking Sephiroth.
So, but I mean, I think Yoshida.
He's not even mad. He's just Yoshida is a very quiet man. Well, he's not really quiet, but he's very objective. He's not just being petty. He's just for a reason. He's not just being one of those extra.
I think he's listening to the wrong portion of the gaming community. Oh, yeah, I mean there are the people that say, "Oh, when they use the term JRPG, they're using it as an insult towards people."
Yeah, slur.
Because there are those in that community of the JRPG that they're neckbeardy argument guys. They're overly obsessed with anime characters. I half the 14 community of guys that play as girls.
Oh God.
Steve. Yeah, I know.
I might play as a cat boy, but I'm not a freaking. I don't get it. I know a couple of people who play characters, and the best thing they say, I play like you're fucking weird.
Yeah, I was just messing with you, dude.
No, you're good. This is something I'm adding personally about that. I know you're it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
But I gotta say, I fully agree with Kamiya on this. Yeah. JRPG, it's
own the JRPG thing.
Own it. It is awesome.
It's a fucking badge of honor because, like I said, JRPGs might not be the best graphically, but the fucking stories are.
Listen, there's a reason why a lot of JRPG series date back decades ago, and they're still going. They're still selling. They're still thriving.
Other than a couple of Western, I can't even say American Western games, is like you're right. There's maybe some, but a lot of JRPGs still stick in us old people's heads.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Final Fantasy has been going since the late 80s. Dragon Quest, well, it started as Dragon Quest. And wait, it was Dragon Warrior. Now it's Dragon Quest. That's been going since the mid 80s.
So look at it that way. People still remember all those old JRPGs compared to a lot of Western games.
You have the Tales of series. Tales of started back in the early mid 90s on the Super Nintendo. Star Ocean dates back to the Sega Master System, which was the late 80s, early 90s.
Wow.
Wait, let me think here.
Don't hurt yourself.
Maybe no, I mixed them up. That's Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star started back in the Sega Master System. Which that's evolved. That went from, I mean, it's still a JRPG. It went from a turn-based system to now it's an MMO that I played a couple times.
But the point being is that even if Naoki looks at it, how if he would see that people are with him on the like JRPGs are badass. Like they're such good fucking stories.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all pretty much the same, but they're told different. They're same, but they're still different. They're still unique. They still do unique things about them: bosses, characters,
Yeah.
the badass music. Just it might be. I mean, I love Naoki, and like I said, he's not really like Naoki's more like especially when it comes to the 14 community or even 16.
Mm-hmm.
He's like gotta cut the negativity out. So I don't think he's really butthurt about the whole term JRPG, and I feel like I'm like a Naoki Yoshida like ologist over here. I follow this guy with a great, like he really intrigues me. So like maybe he'll eventually turn around, but
Mm.
he's still gonna make his games.
Oh yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
So, but yeah, that is, I mean, JRPGs will forever get love. As long as they don't go too Western, they don't lose their identity. Oh, and then just made Steve lose his camera because I'm messing around with the screen.
Wow.
I know, I did that to you, and I'm sorry. JRPGs will forever get love from me.
Okay, even
we have another one. We have another story that I'm going to be keeping my eye on, which is the next game in the Tales of series. So, the one I was talking about that I mixed up with Phantasy Star Ocean. That dated back to, I want to say, PlayStation 1.
Mm-hmm. So I tried playing it, and it wasn't turn style like 7, so it was really hard for me to adapt to because I was used to like turn style games. So it was definitely interesting. I want to go back and eventually play it since I'm better at adapting to non turn style.